Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, which many people probably know, Treasure Island. That's why she made this secret doorway to, you know, get out of trouble. Talofa, and welcome back again. In this episode we're going to explore the villa and resting place of one of the most famous writers in the world. Today we are at Villa Vailima, which is the villa of Robert Louis Stevenson, a famous author that wrote Jekyll and Hyde, or Treasure Island, or Kidnapped, maybe if you know those. And he stayed the last years of his life here on Samoa, and he built this big mansion. So we can have a look around, see what it's all about, and learn something about his life. So right now we are in the Tapa room. This is a special room made out of tree bark material. So the walls are covered with that and have been carved by the local people of Samoa Island that are still good in this kind of artwork. So they sort of carve this, how do you call it, like wallpaper kind of stuff. And it's just sort of tree bark kind of, so pretty cool. You see? So this is all handmade. This is where the wife of Robert used to live. After his death, she came here, and this was remodeled again after looking at some pictures, and they redid the whole thing. So here we have also some ancient weapons. Here are some details, island details probably, pretty cool. And here we have some knives with decorations. Here's another old pistol, and here we have a samurai sword, which is kind of interesting. Very rusty, but yeah. And this one is also quite interesting because it has a back sort of knife or something. So I guess you can use it as an axe when you're out of bullets or something. Pretty cool. And there's some more decorated weaponry. And here's some old-fashioned chess. And this is the first fireplace of Samoa ever, because obviously you don't think about a fireplace in such a hot environment. But Europeans always wanted to have a fireplace because it's sort of elitist. So fireplace. So right now we are in the library, the place that Louis stayed the most in because of his creative nature. He had all kinds of books, of course, and art going on around here. And he loved the view of the mountain that is actually on the other side here, where he's eventually buried also. So he wanted to always stay here and have this beautiful view, which is now obstructed by an addition made after his death, which is the building outside. And here we also have another fireplace. So they did that because he wanted to feel at home, and he always had one back home. But because this was the first one in Samoa in general, the Samoans that had to build this had no clue what to do because they had never built one before. So what happened was that they built it wrong, technically, which basically filled the entire room with smoke. Because if you have incorrect sort of flow, then it just comes back in and fills the whole room with fire. So eventually they just closed it up, and it became a decorative piece. I mean, you can't blame them, of course. If you don't know what it is, then you can't really build it, right? So yeah, obviously it's all filled with all kinds of artifacts again. So we have some chests, for example, with some spades. We have like a little, I think a bed or something like this, old-fashioned bed, and all old kind of books. Obviously the books here had to be furnished in a very particular way and treated because of the harsh climate and all the insects eating everything, because, you know, termites, for example, they eat everything, and a book technically is wood, right? So, and all kinds of other critters. So they had to specially treat all his books and stuff like that to be able to survive this climate. This was his main desk, where he did all his creative thinking. So, with the register of deaths, this is his registration of death basically over here. And extract an entry in foreign register of deaths. So yeah, this is his official death certificate. And of course we also have 3 of the most famous books of Robert Louis Stevenson here. First editions granted by the United Kingdom because they were so generous to give back the property of this person. So we have Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, which many people probably know, Treasure Island, and Kidnapped. Personally, I had not heard of Kidnapped, but Dr. Jekyll and Hyde and Treasure Island I've definitely heard about. There are also movies about these things and adaptations and whatever. So that's yeah, and those are first editions. So it's very cool, very cool. So here we are in the room of his wife, and her name was, pay attention, Frances Matilda van de Grift Osborne Stevenson. That's a mouthful. She was of American descent, with obviously at least Dutch lineage, because of that name. And yeah, she was 10 years with him, and she lived in this room, which she kept very simple. So it was mostly a wood-based room, with simple colors. And she kept everything very simple and almost minimalistic for that time. But very, very nice, very beautiful. We have some wardrobes here. Oh, this is the drawing. Yeah, this is the drawing from the daughter, from when the furniture of this room came in this room. This is the only thing that they had to sort of have reference to what the room looked like and what kind of furniture was in this room. So yeah, they used this as a reference. And this is what they came up with. So it's quite impressive. And yeah, she just devoted her entire life to supporting him. She recognized his gift of writing. And even though they had a big age difference, she was also a divorcee. Which was back then, of course, a bit of a mark on your name. And she was the mother of 3 kids. One of them died in childbirth, and the other 2 they survived and lived a happy life around here. In this room, she made a connecting secret door, which is now, of course, open. But this used to be a secret doorway, which connects to her daughter's room now. And she did that because at that time Samoa was still a bunch of factions that were battling each other, and apparently it was not uncommon for black-faced Samoans sort of going through their property to go towards the other factions and tribes and attack them and have kind of fights and stuff. So she was afraid that they would be in the middle of some kind of a fight and she had to maybe hide somewhere. So that's why she made this secret doorway to get out of trouble in that any case. But no, it hasn't happened as far as I know. So let's have a look at the other bedroom of the daughter. So her daughter was called Isabel, and this was her bedroom. She joined the family later on by persuasion of Robert and his wife. And she had her own privacy over here. She really liked that a lot. She had all the time to write and to sew. So that was her sewing station. And this was her writing station. And she basically became the assistant of Robert and organizing the entire household and the whole estate. And she managed the staff and all those things, and also the fan mail, because that was already a thing back then. And they would get a whole bunch of fan mail, and because of her, they could reply to basically all of them in one way or another, and without her help it would never be possible. So she was a great asset to Robert's life. Robert died a very unfortunate death at just 44 years old in 1894.
He suddenly collapsed in front of his wife and died a couple hours later, most probably because of a brain hemorrhage. Today's scientific research suspects he suffered a very rare disease which would explain his lifelong health issues. After his death, the family mostly moved towards the US and UK. The villa, being the only two-story building on the entire island, was a very important building, and therefore the German colonial government was seated here, to be replaced later by the New Zealand administration, and later on it finally was returned to become a museum.
Here we are in Maggie's bedroom, which is apparently the aunt. And she was quite a demanding lady because she came here the first time and almost immediately left because she was not satisfied with the situation, and she went back to New Zealand and asked for additional buildings and rooms being created, so she made her wishes clear. And they built all of this according to her wishes. She also left the money for it to be done. And then she came back and everything was according to her wish. And she moved in. And yeah, many of the furnishment was from Edinburgh, all the way in Scotland. So that's a long way and very expensive, obviously. So I have some sketches over here. It was painted by, oh, okay. So it's an actual sketch of him, of Robert. Here we have like a seating area or something. With all original chairs and couches. There's an old mirror. And here we have the original chair, which was completely redone in New Zealand. So this was donated by the family from New Zealand to this museum. Very nice, very nice. And yeah, she was treated by the Samoans as one of their elders, and they tried to make her stay the best and most comfortable as possible. Here we are in the room of Austin, which is one of the kids of the wife. So Austin's room is, of course, a small room with bright colors like yellow for like a little boy, like a little teenage boy. So this is his little bed over here. He has a bow and arrow because he liked to play cowboys and Indians, which would not be politically correct anymore today. And here we have some games he had, like a puzzle, dominoes. Here we had some cartoons and some books, Harvard. And here we have a chalkboard. And here we have some grammar from prepositions, adjectives and participles. Yeah, because he was still learning. And apparently he was being taught in the politics and all kinds of things about Samoa, Samoan language. And I found this little booklet here, which includes the world map, right? So here, the world, modern geography, world. So I found the page where there's something about the Netherlands. I mean, I am from the Netherlands, so it's interesting to me. And it's kind of interesting because this says, Holland was once the most powerful republic in Europe, but now it is only a second-rate monarchy. It formed with Belgium the Kingdom of the Netherlands from the year 1814, which was after the defeat of Napoleon, until 1830, which was the independence of Belgium, when each became a separate state. Then it just goes on and explaining what we are good at and what we do, and apparently we also used to smoke a lot. It says that every Dutch person had a pipe in their mouth always. I guess because of the colonies we had a lot of tobacco or something going on. And then you also have like Belgium and Flanders and all kinds of... It's kind of funny to see the perspective of that time and what they think about your country in that time period, right? Very interesting. And here we have the medicine room used by Fanny, the wife, to practice her medicine and all her natural remedies that she knew about. Also because Austin was apparently quite a sick boy, so he needed a lot of treatment and a lot of ailments. They're not connected to the Apia hospital, So she basically did everything herself. So she was prepared for any kind of situation with Austin. And she had all kinds of remedies, for example, prepared, and all the things, the bedpans and everything you need for such a room. Of course, a sick bed. They had everything. So this stairway is still the original stairway from the Californian wood. They have removed all the paint and they discovered that the wood was still in good condition, and it's over 100 years old. So this is one of the more original pieces of the house. So here we are in the Great Hall. So that's the main hall downstairs. And this was, and still is, the biggest hall you can find like this in Samoa, apparently. And it was used for various things. The family was very open, and a willingness to share the room with others was big. So yeah, they used it for music, for artistic things, for celebrations, and all those kinds of things. And it's of course adorned with many artifacts and gifts. Most of the things here are replicas, unfortunately, but they have all been replicated by using pictures and paintings and drawings that they can, use some information to know what was here before. The only original things are here. So here, those things have been restored to original order, and those are the original pieces. Yeah, so this is all made of various types of wood, like redwood. Those chairs, for example, here are teak wood, for example. And here we have a piano, because there was also a piano once. This is all replica, but yeah, they had a piano once. Here we have a music box, which still works, maybe, I'm not sure, maybe. But yeah, pretty cool. And here you have the instructions basically. And here you have the various music. So this is all different music. So yeah, maybe you're aware that sometimes you can buy those little souvenir boxes with, if you turn it, you hear like Harry Potter or something, or other kind of music. Well, this is the original version. That is actually very old technology that they just brought back for touristic purposes. And here we have some kind of guitar or something. It's a form of a guitar, which is very interesting. I've never really seen anything like that. It's, yeah, here we have another sort of banjo. I'm not sure what this is called. It looks exotic. It's an exotic looking guitar. If somebody can tell me what it is. So yeah, here we have all the silverware and all the glasses and those things, to serve the guests with. It's actually quite extensive. So obviously it's also a replica, but you can understand these things are very, rare in that time in Samoa, of course. It's not a very common thing to have silverware. Here we have a very beautifully carved wardrobe. Beautifully done. So you must understand that all the replicas here have still been handmade by Samoan craftsmen. So even though it's not an original, it's still art, and it's still beautiful to look at. They did a very outstanding job with all those things. Here we have a little table. I'm not really sure what it's. Yeah, some kind of a little table with stone. This is I think a stone. Yeah, with a nice view of the garden over here, for example. And then here we have some paintings and some statues. They were made by other artists about Robert. So here we have a famous painting that supposed to show the light and the dark of him, sort of in a Jekyll and Hyde way. Here we have a bronze statue of him in his usual pose. Here we have an angel picture, which was done by an artist that always likes to portray angels and to sort of give this heavenly vibe to the people. And this is it's a statue of Rodin, and of course it's a replica, of course. And this is also a beautifully done carved closet again, all done by Samoan craftsmen. And we have the the massive safe over here, where of course the valuables were stored into, which is this is definitely the original, I think, I guess, or they just put in a new one, but cheap. Look at how thick this is. Man, this is thick. Wow. I wonder who they thought could get into this. Like, I think nobody in Samoa had any kind of a tool that can go through that. But that's probably the point. So yeah, this is the Great Hall. It's beautifully done, and it has a lot of airflow also. It feels pretty cool here actually. So yeah, this is one of the many verandas that they have around here. And yeah, you have beautiful views every day, you know. You're just on the mountain here in Samoa. So yeah, they're doing some work over here. But it's, yeah, I can imagine why he wanted to live here. It's beautiful. So right now we are in the Botanical Gardens next to the Stevenson's house. And this all the way goes up to his grave, which is on this little mountain up there. And that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna do a little hike and have a little bit of nature walk finally in Samoa. And apparently this is an old volcano. It's like, you know, it's pretty dead. And yeah, he loved this particular mountain top, so that's why he wanted to be buried there. And you have also some swimming area, I think, like a natural pool there and stuff. So let's see what happens and how far we get. But it's not supposed to be that much. I mean, this guy just came to me and he's gonna hike it, so of like run it or something. So he's brave, he's brave. So here we have a beautifully painted, hand-painted map of the region and where to go. So we are over here, right? So we could go to the right, go to the waterfall, we can go to the pool, we can go all the way like this, like that, or we can go straight up, steep slope towards, well, that way or that way, to get to this to the grave of Robert Stevenson. So yeah, you have options even to go somewhere. Yeah, I will see how it goes, how big this trail is. It is apparently 580 meters that way, or basically 1 kilometer the other way. Well, let's see, let's have a look around. We also have some beautifully painted native birds. The manuma, Pacific pigeon, lupe, the pepe ae, Samoan swallowtail, okay, the monarch, butterfly, the ma'o, I think, manomea, the black skink, the jungle fowl, moa, the blue-crowned lorry, sega fowl, and manu ulua. So those are the native birds around here, or introduced, I guess. Some of them maybe. So let's start. So you are greeted immediately by this river and this natural pool down there. Right now I'm doing the short version, the 1.8 kilometers run. The other one was, like I said, like I think it was on the sign 2.4 even or something. But it's, I think that one was just slower elevation. This one is short but pretty steep elevation. It's very humid here, obviously, tropical area. I'm sweating like crazy, and I'm not really a sweating person, so imagine. It's dripping down, and yeah, I haven't been in the best conditions lately. I think the last hike I did was probably still on, well, on the big island probably in Hawaii. After that, not so much. And I have been a bit ill 2 days ago, sitting on the toilet, you can imagine. Yeah, so I'm still a bit recovering from that moment. It's nice that they made these little stairs everywhere. It makes it a bit easier. Man, this is humid. Very humid. It's a proper, how do you say that? Greenhouse feeling under this foliage everywhere. Whew. But look at this beautiful thing we have along the way. All those roots creating stairs for us to go on. Whew. And some resting places. So I think this is the last climb up to the top, and then it's time for a break. Then on the way down, I'm gonna definitely hit in the pool, you know, hit the pool for a second and jump in. That's the reward at the end of this. I wonder what about, you know, what the longer one is about. That is just easier, or just, you know, takes longer but it's slower ascent, or not. Not sure, not gonna try it now, maybe another time. And the funny thing is that people use this trail just for hiking, you know, just for a workout, you know, as we would just go to a park and go around the park for a second, or around the neighborhood. They just go up to a tropical mountain. That is their park over here. You know, it's an interesting way of looking at it. To them, it's just a park. For us, it's a wonderful adventure. Up there is the grave, but up here is a beautiful view of Samoa. This is what you're greeted with and rewarded with after you did this hike. Absolutely stunning. Okay, that's the first time. I almost lost my drone because I didn't know where the hell I was. You know, when you're flying around and you know where you are most of the time, and you can find yourself. I couldn't find myself anymore. I just saw trees and trees, and I was flying around. So I was like, oh, where am I? And then I remembered, oh yeah, of course I have a home button function. Oh, luckily. So I let him fly home. I was like, oh, there I am. Oh Christ, I would never have found that. So that saved me. And here we have the grave of Robert Louis Stevenson. His favorite mountaintop became his resting place. Whew, I don't want to know the guys that had to bring him up here. They definitely had a bad day. Okay, and probably also didn't have stairs back then, so was probably a whole day adventure. Anyway. With that view, he has an internal view of Samoa. I mean, I can imagine worse places to be buried. Pretty amazing. Now it's time to go down, right straight into the pool. After changing, of course. But yeah, time to cool down. This is gonna be the easy part, of course. Just walking down the steps. But it's funny because it's literally, like I said before, yeah, like a walk in the park for those people. That's where they train, where they come to do the exercise, and that's their routine. Very interesting. Obviously the dangerous thing now is that going down, it's also slippery, by the way, after rain or anything or any kind of moist. It's a very, very slippery trail. And because you're going down, you're not paying so much attention. You're a bit more, you know, easy, tired obviously with your steps. And then you're prone to slipping down. Because when you're going up, you're really concentrating on every step because you're, you know, dying slowly. And yeah, now going down. So be aware, going down can be more dangerous than going up. Well, we're back down again. We have this little bridge, which is basically the starting point of this entire trail. And it goes to the little pool where I'm going right now to cool off a little bit, like the locals do. Just have to get changed somewhere. I guess there's some toilet somewhere. I took my swimming gear, of course, because everywhere in Samoa you can swim somewhere. So always bring your swimming gear with you, and you're always prepared. Well, I got changed, and it looks like I got this for myself. So let's dive in, and I'm gonna put the water jacket on this guy. Wow, this is nice and cool. Nice and cool. Oh man. Woohoo. Nice. Ah. That's the good stuff. Oh wow. Oh, I guess we can just sit somewhere and enjoy the waterfall. There's definitely like well, I think like 15 degrees or something. Woohoo! It's a little bit of a shock for your body also. Woo! Ah, I feel like Wim Hof right now. That's the good stuff. Ooh, wow! Oh wow! That's very violent. Whoa! That's very violent. Wow! Let's enjoy. Look at this beautiful surroundings. Beautiful, right? It's beautiful. It's amazing.
What a day, what a day. Samoa. And with that, we finish the episode. Have you read any of his books or seen any of the film adaptations? Let me know in the comments. But did you know that he lived in Samoa? I for sure didn't. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.